joining us. I have one of my friends here and an IP mentor, Peter Nieves, has graciously offered to hang out with us for a bit. We have a large community of content creators. So if you are a coach, if you have producing content on social media, even if you're maybe a church, you're doing putting out a lot of content online, or if you're a podcaster, this is going to be a great session for you. We're going to kind of jump in. Peter has an extensive knowledge of IP. He has over 25 years of experience in the field, and he has been named one of the best IP lawyers in America. He's also just very passionate about helping share this IP knowledge and helping to protect people and helping you protect your creative work. So I'm going to bring Peter on, and we're just going to jump into a quick interview. So, hey, Peter.
Hey, Bruce, how are you?
Very good, very good.
Good.
So, thanks for jumping on here. This is super awesome. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting topic, and I'm traveling. I'm in California right now, so everything's great. Yeah,
awesome.
we can jump right in.
That's great. Yeah. So I'm gonna let. Yeah, we were talking last week. We're doing a lot of content creation. We've got a platform called Tribe Social that is helping creators to build, and have a platform where they can own their own content, and own their data. So this is a big deal for us, as far as ownership and protecting, work. So we were chatting, and we got into a really good discussion. We thought, like, hey, this would be a great conversation to have maybe with anyone in our community. So if you use Tribe Social, if you're in Kingdom Messengers, if you're just seeing us on other things and you're watching this is great. But I know that we're here to serve content creators, and this is a very valuable resource, I think. So awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. You'll see in the news when it comes to content creation. I mean, when you've got artificial intelligence included, you've got people that are creating courses. Now you're in the holiday season, so people are creating T-shirts, creating products, taking images from other people, slapping them on a product, selling them online. I mean, it's such a big issue right now. And as content creators, because I'm a content creator myself, not only am I an IP attorney, but I'm also a content creator. I mean, I run challenges, I create ebooks, I'm doing presentations all the time. And you don't often think of the legal issues until something bad happens.
That's
That's when
right.
you start thinking of it. And that's unfortunately, I mean, I dislike saying this, but unfortunately, that's when it's too late. Because at that point, what you're trying to do is recover. Because the design that you created, all of a sudden, people in Taiwan or in Indonesia or some other place are copying it and they're underselling you. And so you're wondering why on eBay, Amazon, on Alibaba, it is that you've lost your market share. Or you create a book and somebody just copies the book and they're selling the exact same thing, or a video, or you're doing podcasts and all of a sudden somebody creates the exact same subject matter with the exact same images that you're using, and they're just changing one or two things, and you're thinking, how is it that I spent so much time trying to create a following of individuals that I'm trying to help, and all of a sudden this person comes out of nowhere, grabs my stuff, does exactly the same thing, and takes my market share? Like, that just doesn't make sense. And then there's the other side of this is where you're just not aware of the legal issues. So you use somebody else's logo, music as background for something, or you grab somebody's image and you slap it on a T-shirt or a product, or you just using artificial intelligence and you're just not aware of what the legal issues are. So the result is you end up getting sued, uh, or you get a cease and desist letter. Now you have to start over. These are things that are just, honestly, they're not necessary. If you understood some of the basics of the legal concept, especially in the area of intellectual property law, like patents, trademarks, copyrights, you wouldn't have these issues. And the people that are aware of these things are way ahead. They're way ahead of the game. And so it's much better when you're starting out to understand these concepts, because if you understand them well, then what you do is you position yourself to create something on a solid foundation where other people can't just come and squat on your land. Or even worse, you build a house on somebody else's property, and
Yep.
then you even got to pay them for being on the property or surrender your house. These are the things that we're
Yeah.
trying to fix. And that's why
The
I'm
internet and the
doing this.
world is a big place, so there's no need to be stepping on other people's property for sure. So if you can stay clear of
Absolutely.
that,
And
yeah.
yeah, people are so creative that you can come up with original work. You just need to know the boundaries, right? Like if you're going to build a house on a piece of property, what do? You go to the town, you look at the plot of the land, right? You look at the maps and you say, oh, this property is available. Now I buy that property and I build a house on that. It's the same thing in the legal area. You want to make sure whenever you're doing any kind of business venture, you have to understand the legal boundaries. If you don't, I mean, this is why I'm busy. The reason why I'm busy is because people get in trouble a lot, and so I have to save them from unfortunate situations. And so that's why we're here. That's why Bruce asked me to come on here because we're going to try to take care of all of you, give you some good legal background on a number of different concepts, so as to help you take off. And if you're already running a business, to help you make some slight maneuvers to make sure you don't run into problems. So with that, let's see. I think Bruce, you want me to just start jumping in? It looks like I lost you, Bruce. So why don't I just jump in? I think I'm going to jump in because I think I lost you, but I'm sure it'll pick up again. So let me just text you saying that I lost you on the screen, and then I'll just continue. There we go. Okay, great. Yeah, it says you're working to get back on. All right, well, that's fine. So in the meantime, I'm just going to get moving here. So as content creators, what are some of the things that we want to think about? Let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to start out with artificial intelligence. Why? Content creators are using things like ChatGPT and Midjourney, Otter AI, Bard, Dolly, a lot of different programs. And there's new AI programs coming out literally every single day at this point. So what we're going to do is kind of talk about things at a very top level. And Bruce is going to drop a link for you guys later. It's for a specific program that we created. It's called the Content Creators Legal Bootcamp, which is going to go in way more detail than we're going to go into here. But I'm going to give you kind of a top level review right now. Okay, so when you're dealing with artificial intelligence, first thing you want to look at is what goes in to the artificial intelligence software, then what comes out from the artificial intelligence software, and then finally, what do you own? The government has said that whatever you, there he is. I see you, Bruce. All right, great. So the
Cool.
government has said,
Um,
yeah, we just jumped right in. No worries.
keep going, keep going. I'm just going to take
All
myself off
right, so
screen.
that's great. So what the government has said is that if you if you use artificial intelligence to create something, then you can't own the result. All right. So if something is created through artificial intelligence, so as an example, if you go into ChatGPT and you say something in your prompt, please assume the position of an author. You're creating a book, a 20-page book that includes the following characters, and you list out the characters. You list out the characteristics of the characters, and you say, please create a 20-page book where the storyline is the following, and you give kind of like a 2-sentence storyline. Boom, a 20-page book will come out. Right? I've tested this myself. It does that. There's a number of issues with that. Number one, if you're hoping to actually publish the book, when you work with a publisher, you have to ensure them that you own the copyright. You can't own the copyright because it's created by artificial intelligence. What's created by artificial intelligence, you cannot be the owner of under copyright law. Okay, the government has said that anything created by artificial intelligence, you can't be the copyright owner. Okay, and that was confirmed by the federal district court in Washington D.C. So what do you do about this? What you do is you use things like ChatGPT and um, other artificial intelligence programs to get ideas. Like if you get writer's block, you can ask it, okay, this is kind of like basic storyline. What would happen in the next chapter? Now you get a general idea, and now you can go and start writing because it breaks that writer's block for you. Something that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
So, and can I ask a question there? So, like, if let's say I get some ideas, I write them out one way on my document, and now I've got like kind of a one-page story, let's say. Can I take like a paragraph from that, drop it back, and say improve the writing, or does it, as soon as I do that, does it, is that where the
Yeah, it's a great question. So, what Bruce is alluding to is how much of the created work is allowed to be created by artificial intelligence and still allow you to maintain the copyright. Okay, so let's say I created a 30-page book and I take one paragraph of it and I say, this paragraph is horrible. I mean, it just reads so badly. I need other ways to write this. So what I do is I upload that one paragraph and I ask ChatGPT to modify it, right? And then I get, oh, here it is. That's the version I like. I copy that paragraph and I throw it into my book, right? Here's the way that the government has ruled on this. Whatever is created by artificial intelligence, you cannot own. So you essentially would own every single page and every single paragraph of the book except that one paragraph. Okay, that's how the government has ruled on this. Now, everybody knows what. So there's a program called Grammarly, right, which is doing like slight modifications in grammar. Those kind of modifications are not considered to be so detailed that it warrants a separate um, copyright owner. They're just slight tweaks in sentence structure, tense. It's not changing the paragraph. It's doing slight modifications so that the English reads properly. Okay. There are degrees of modification that are allowed, and there are degrees of modifications that are not allowed. The courts are trying to figure this out right now. So in general, if you have a sentence that you just don't like and you modify one sentence, legally, you're not supposed to be able to own that one sentence in artificial intelligence. But if the modification is really just kind of like grammar, tense of the sentence, adding one word, adding two words, it's not such a big modification that I would argue you're going to lose rights under copyright law. And again, this is something that is being ironed out now, right now, literally right now. So that's the ownership issue in general. Again, we're doing this top level. Bruce can explain to you guys later how you can get way more information, which we're doing on the 20th and the 21st. All right, so next part is what can go into artificial intelligence. Do not put anything that's confidential, period. Don't put anything confidential in artificial intelligence software. Don't put it into ChatGPT. Don't put it into Midjourney. If you don't want a picture of your 3-year-old daughter to show up on somebody else's webpage, do not upload it into Midjourney. I don't even care if you're using stealth mode. Stealth mode is an option to use in Midjourney, but the problem with stealth mode is that while it won't take your image and upload it into their database for manipulation or for availability to third parties, it's still shown in Discord. So when you're uploading it, people who are looking on Discord might see it, right-click it, copy it, and upload it themselves. So stealth mode is great, but it's not perfect. Okay, so just be careful. Don't upload things that are private. Don't upload your client's information. Don't upload social security numbers, medical information. Don't upload any of that, or you could end up in a lawsuit. ChatGPT is owned by OpenAI. OpenAI got a letter from Samsung because two of their engineers uploaded source code. The source code was trade secrets of Samsung. So you know what happens? That source code then becomes available to the public. That's a really big deal. So Samsung calls up OpenAI, says, hey, can you pull that source code from your system? OpenAI says, no. Once it's in there, it's in there. We can't pull it out. It's like ragu, like it's in there. It's done. That's it. We can't pull it. So they ended up losing extremely valuable trade secrets.
Yeah.
Once it's in, it's done. So don't upload things that are private. Okay. Now there are certain private servers out there, like there's a ChatGPT Enterprise that came out, right? That's supposed to be maintained private. But what you're doing is you're compromising on quality of experience. The reason why ChatGPT is so exciting is because what you enter, it learns from, and then it modifies results customized to you. ChatGPT Enterprise won't do that because it's not taking your results and uploading it anywhere. It's keeping it local where you are and just giving you results. So a lot of people complain that it's a boring, kind of dry experience. They don't like it. because they're not getting that interaction. So, I mean, think about this. You're dealing with something that's free, guys. All right. I mean, how much complaining can you really do? It's a
Yeah.
free software program that's entertaining that you can have a lot of fun with, right?
Yeah.
And so somebody spent lots of money developing this thing. If it's free, you're the price. Just think of it that way. If it's free, what you're entering becomes the price. So your data is the price that you're paying. Think of it that way. It's a lot easier to figure out. So anything that you're uploading, don't upload anything that's confidential. Also, don't upload copyrighted or trademarked works of other parties, or even audio works of other parties, because that's called copyright infringement, trademark infringement. You don't want to get sued for that. What do I mean by that? I'm looking for a product here. All right, here. Kleenex. Kleenex. There's a shine on that. There we go. It says Kleenex there. Okay. That's their own little trademark. I take that picture, I take my cell phone, I take a picture of it, upload it into Midjourney, and I tweak it a little bit. That's called copyright infringement. The second that I copy what legally belongs to another party and upload it into a third party platform, that's called copyright infringement. So what you don't want to do is kind of look at a painting and then take a picture of the painting, upload it into Midjourney, do slight modifications, then screen print that onto a t-shirt. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. The companies will find out because Amazon and eBay especially are getting alerts every single day from people that are hiring myself and others who are policing their own copyrighted works, their own paintings, their own logos, and logos fall under trademarks. So don't take an image that belongs to someone else and just upload it into AI. You can get sued for that, or you can at least get a cease and desist letter for that. And then finally, on the other side of this, and again, I'm keeping this brief just to keep this quick for everybody. On the output side, understand that the majority of the artificial intelligence software platforms do not do trademark searches and do not do copyright searches. The way that they get their data, like OpenAI got its data for ChatGPT, Midjourney got its data for Midjourney, same way, scraping. Grabbed all the stuff that was available on the internet all the way up into 2021, turned into this mega database, used neural networks to learn, and then conglomerate all this information to then give you a result when you start interacting with it. Well, the result of that is that they grabbed copyrighted works of third parties. They grabbed trademarked works of third parties. So now you, as a consumer, the party who's using it, you go, let's say you have a marketing team. Marketing team goes and uses Midjourney, comes out with a really cool ad. Just so happens that the result of their prompt is actually the copyrighted work of a third party that was slightly modified. Boom, you get sued for your major marketing campaign because you're just not aware of these things. Like nobody's talking about this. But as of right now, OpenAI has been sued tons of times. John Grisham sued them. Sarah Silverman sued them. Over 8,000 authors have sent cease and desist letters to Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, and many other companies demanding copyright royalties. It's a war that's going on right now that many of us are not privy to, but the guys like myself who are AI lawyers, we're seeing this all the time. And so we're just trying to make sure you guys don't get in trouble. So what do you do? What do you do? I mean, obviously the answer is not avoid it all because look, I'm a techie. I'm not avoiding jack. Like I'm going to use this stuff. I just want to make sure I'm using it the right way. So I look for platforms that have images that are licensed or open source, like Adobe Firefly, all licensed images. So I use their platform. I'm not going to get sued because who's going to sue me? The company that I'm paying? That's a bad way to keep your customers, you know? So I'm not getting sued by Adobe. Their own images are, again, all licensed and open source. So I'm fine. So I'll use them. And there's a number of other platforms that are out there. But if you look up, as an example, logoai.com, that's a good example of a company that'll create a logo for you. And you can do a search for the results that you get. And you'll find out that you're actually, if you use certain of the results that they give you, you will be sued for trademark infringement. I went to United States Patent and Trademark Office website after creating a trademark, a logo off of their site, and the logo that they gave me for a recommendation actually was a federally registered trademark of another company. I mean, it's walking you into a lawsuit. And what's really interesting is you have to pay for the results. So it's not bad enough that they're giving you something that you can be sued for.
Yeah.
You're paying them for the honor of being sued. I mean, that's a good business plan right there.
That
So
sounds good for them.
yeah,
Good for
so
them, not for good
that's
for.
AI. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. This is super helpful. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
these tools are definitely something that is useful. It's tempting, right? Because for so long, a lot of the busy work in creative process was just sitting and kind of doing the work. Um, I find, this is helpful to know. Like, you can use it, using it as like a creative partner to talk strategy and not to produce. I think
Hmm.
if you leave the final production of the work to you, right, that probably makes the most sense. Is a good rule of thumb. I know when we're and I have to do an email copy or something, I immediately go to ChatGPT and I explain to it what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to market this online event. I'll do this here, references, bullet point, like a strategy, like the text, like can basically help me think through. Now, what I put in the email and how I edit it and how I write it, I'm doing that myself. But I'm not. I'm using it as a creative partner to think through, like, because sometimes it's easier to, instead of staring at a blank page, it's easier just to tell ChatGPT, or especially on the audio version, I've used that as well, where you just hit the microphone and you just talk to it like it's a human being. Um, these are just cool things to help get your,
Yeah.
like, and so, and we for everything for our business. I use ChatGPT to write our 2-year-old's bedtime story. I have Midjourney spit out like images and stuff that we tell these fun stories and stuff, and it spins these things up. So it's super fun, but it's really helpful to know, like, from a business or a professional standpoint, how do we protect ourselves? So this is super helpful. What you're sharing.
Yeah, and the other part is, look, sometimes we just don't care, right? If I have a business meeting with my team and there's nothing confidential in that meeting, then I use Otter AI. I take Otter AI, take a transcription of the video session, then I take that summary. You can use Otter AI to give you a summary. I take that summary, I upload it into ChatGPT and just say, assume the position of the head of a corporation where a meeting just took place on the following. The following is a summary of the meeting. Please draft an email with the 5 main bullet points for the members of the company to inspire a desire to work for the company and I don't know, some kind of camaraderie kind of language, right? Boom, like 2 seconds. An email that would have taken me like 3 hours to transcribe and draft and send out, I've got done in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. But what I don't do is, if that meeting is covering confidential information of my clients, I can't do that, because the second I did that, the confidential information for my clients became publicly available, which is an ethical violation that you can be sued for. So once you understand how these things work, you can work in them. You can have a lot of fun in them. I know which meetings I can use it for. I know which meetings I can't. But if I didn't even have this information, I'd just be a target. I just run into a lot of problems. So that's why we're trying to get you this
Yeah, this is
information.
great. And I think same thing. Let's just talk about Zoom for a second. I know you and I have talked a little bit about Zoom, and I know they had an AI feature. They took it away. Maybe they're playing with it. I remember when this came out, I know a lot of coaches just like, this is amazing, just turn it on, and then they would go and share their, like, trade, you know, formula for whatever, their different frameworks for tools. But it's shared now, like, word for word, basically back to ChatGPT, to Zoom, and some things to look out for there for that.
Yeah, so Zoom, it was really interesting. They came out with this public announcement. Hey guys, guess what we're going to do? We're going to take the videos that you have all recorded and we're going to automatically transcribe them and train our own engine, so our artificial intelligence will become extremely helpful and provide you with the results that you want. the world went crazy, went ballistic. I mean, do you have any idea how many law firms use Zoom? I mean, including mine. So the mere thought that confidential information of my clients could potentially be included in their database, just so all of a sudden there were like thousands upon thousands of nasty grams that went to Zoom and said, "You do this, we're going to sue you. Like, you better not do this." So they immediately put on the brakes. Immediately it stopped. Now, they did create a new option where you can elect to partake in this, but I'm not sure if that's live yet. I can check and see whether or not that's live again. They were really concerned that they were going to get sued because so many of us went irate, that anybody would even think of taking our confidential information and training their internal database with that. For those of you that don't know what neural networks are, I've been writing patents on neural network technologies probably for about 12 years. This is old technology, right? But basically, it's learning patterns, and then it learns from itself, right? So it sees something here, it gets smarter from learning patterns out of that. Where it gets, I don't want to say scary, but where it gets more concerning is where the software actually is so smart as to learn past patterns. So that's when you start getting into scary technology. Right? Now you're like, whoa, hold on a second. So not only are you looking at the patterns to give me a good result, but you're telling me you're going to anticipate what I'm going to do not based on patterns. Like, you're just going to know. I mean, it's that kind of stuff is, yeah, that's kind of freaky. But most people aren't dealing with that. Okay. I'm not going to go down that route and freak people out. So, but with regard to Zoom, actually, let me talk about Facebook as well. So Zoom in of itself is pretty safe. You can use it, right? It's saving your videos. It's not making it available to the public. That's a simple one. Facebook's different. When you sign up for Facebook, you give them a non-exclusive license to your work. So you better know what you're doing. This is one of the reasons why I don't live stream into Facebook. When I do, I run challenges, I run master classes, I run boot camps. None of them live stream into Facebook, right? Now, that doesn't mean people that live stream into Facebook, like they're doing something wrong. It just means for them, they don't mind. Like, they don't care, right? I mean, I know some of the most well-known marketers in the world, like Dean Graziosi, right? Tony Robbins, Pedro Rodeo, like all these guys, they live stream into Facebook. They don't care, right? Because they just don't care if Facebook gets certain rights. However, when you start explaining to some of these guys, hey, guess what? Now that they have rights to your stuff, they can copy it and they can let other people see it. Now they start getting concerned. So you need to realize that what you can do instead is you can go into a Zoom, live stream into a Facebook group, but not save it, right? So you're live streaming, so it's seen, but it's not saved. So that's what you want to do. If you can go into a platform and not allow it to be saved, that's okay, because there's technically no copy that's there to be made. It's a stream. It's not being stored, right? So if it's not being stored, that's not as big of a problem. And that's actually to answer Barry's question. Barry asked, if we post something into a Facebook group, we manage, does Facebook own it? Can they use it? Yes, they can, because you gave them a non-exclusive license to use it. Read the terms and conditions. It is long and painful. So I would check that out. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, we talked about AI in general, right? So we talked about what comes out. Make sure you do a trademark search, copyright search. You're welcome, Barry. Ownership issues. But at the same time, there's other things that are out there. Like, if you're going to start selling products online, on Amazon, on Alibaba, on eBay, you got to make sure that whatever you're selling, there's no legal rights to it on the copyright law or trademark law, because what people can do is they can file a complaint against you. Your account will get flagged for committing IP infringement. And if you get a few of those flags, they'll shut you down. Meaning you no longer can use their platform for selling anything, and it's really unfortunate. So, and one of the main reasons for this is people just aren't aware of what copyrights are. They're not aware of what trademarks are. It's pretty
Yeah.
scary. So just be careful.
So we're getting a couple questions. Harry was asking, what about uploading?
I think you broke up. So
I can right there.
it looks. I can see some of the questions here. So it says, yeah. So it's asking about YouTube. So YouTube has its own terms and conditions. You have to take a look at it. They're not as bad as Facebook. You end up owning your own content. From what I recall, now here's the thing: these different platforms, they change their rules very fast. Like Zoom changed its rules like with nobody even knowing, just boom, changed its rules. So the last time I checked, YouTube doesn't get legal rights to your content, but I would want to double check that before I go telling people, yeah, upload everything into YouTube. What I found for my own purposes is that Vimeo is pretty good. Vimeo, I didn't run into any legal issues. Obviously, Bruce can speak towards Tribe Social. From what I recall, he doesn't take any legal rights to, people's content, but he would know. He'd be able to tell you that. But as far as YouTube, from what I recall, YouTube doesn't get legal rights like Facebook does to your content, but I would double check the terms and conditions, honestly. If you look, anytime you look at terms and conditions, look to the section that says intellectual property. That's where you want to look. When you look
Gotcha.
in the intellectual property section, that tells you what they will end up owning. So please be careful, because why am I saying be careful? You guys are spending so much time and money. I know, because I'm a content creator. I'm trying to come out with something that's original, something that's going to draw people in so that we can actually share things that are going to be helpful to them, right? There's also a business model. You do not want to be putting that stuff in a place where another company can own it. I have seen major clients of mine, people that are making 20, 30 million a year, call me up and complain because somebody actually has their podcasts. I mean, the audacity in this. Every one of their podcasts, they have a copy of it, and the other party's selling them. Every single one of the podcasts. That's called copyright infringement. You can't do that. Like, you can't grab the content of another. You can't grab a book of another. Do you know if you go into ChatGPT and you ask it to come out with the next chapter of a John Grisham novel, it'll create a chapter for you. But what it does is it's scraping the data from prior chapters. So that new chapter has content from prior chapters. That's called copyright infringement.
Mhm.
This is why you have to be aware of these things. If I'm aware of this, then what I can do instead is, let's say I have my own draft of my own book, right? But I want to tweak it. Okay. I have the copyright on what I've created. It's just automatic. The second you create something, you own the copyright on it. I have that already. So, and in fact, I could file that for $65 at the Copyright Office. So now I own that. Now, if there's slight modifications to that, that should be argued to be what's called a derivative work. The legal rights to derivative works fall upon the original copyright. So therefore, what does that mean? That means that modification by ChatGPT is owned by me, because it's considered a derivative. If it's a derivative, then I own the legal work because I have the original work. There's a way to maneuver this. There's a way, if you're smart, you can make this system work so well for you that you'll be one of the few that excel and do extremely well in the business world using artificial intelligence, because you understand how to maneuver it. If you don't understand this stuff, then you're essentially walking on a landmine. Like, it's like there's a field with landmines and you're just randomly walking on it, and it's not pretty. But if you know exactly where all the mines are, you can walk right through it. It's not a problem. And that's what we're trying to do, help you get, yeah. Yeah, Bruce. So why don't we do that? Obviously, you have the link for this. Guys, what we've given you so far is a fraction. literally a fraction of what we're going to be covering in what's called the Content Creators Legal Bootcamp. I created this because I have a large number of friends who are content creators, and I'm always concerned for them because they'll ping me, and I bill at $600 an hour. They'll ping me and they'll say, "Hey, such and such stole this," or "I got a cease and desist for that." What do I do? And now I'm billing them at my normal billing rate, which actually is very reasonable for 25 years of experience and being a litigator and a prosecutor. But I'm thinking to myself, if they just had this basic level of knowledge that is not available to the public, because like lawyers don't typically share this kind of stuff. There's no reason to. If we can get them this kind of basic level of knowledge, then they're going to be highly successful. They're going to minimize their legal vulnerability. They're going to increase their market share. They're going to be highly successful, and something's not going to come in and kind of bring them back to the start because they have to surrender things. So we created this boot camp. It's called the Content Creators Legal Bootcamp. It's going to be December 20th and the 21st. If you are a content creator in any way, shape, or form, if you got podcasts, you create ebooks, you sell products online, use AI, any of those things or more as a content creator, get into this thing.
Yeah.
We've made it free, guys.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah. It's
like we can't make this easier. This is an incredible opportunity.
Yeah. Guys, so I know Peter's, hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know what's going on with my setup today. But yeah, so this is an awesome opportunity. December 20th, 21st. It's going to be like 90 minutes each day. Peter's opened it up to be free. So I just thought this would be such an awesome thing to share with our community. So there's a link in the description wherever you are watching. If you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube or if you're on Tribe, you can just check the link. There's a little link there that will get it. You can sign up for free. And like I said, we trust Peter. We wouldn't bring him on our platform if we didn't trust him. He is our IP attorney. He has helped us tremendously with avoid a lot of people. We were about the TikTok challenge, and I think we called it something TikTok challenge. And Peter reached out and he's like, "Do you want to fix this?" For 30 minutes, just fixed everything that was legally wrong with that page in just a little bit. So Peter's been super, and so we work in his firm, our business. So bring anyone here, and the fact that he's opening up a boot camp for content creators is just something I definitely wanted to get in front of you guys and invite you into. So check out that link in the description. And then I know we've got a couple questions and things we can jump into.
Yeah, let me just add one more thing real quick, guys, just so people understand. When I'm not doing this to get clients, just so people understand, like I'm busy. All right, I'm busy. Yeah. So this is not about a lawyer trying to get clients. That's not why we're doing this. Like there's a desperate need in this field, and there's more and more content creators now. And so I would sincerely suggest that any content creators that you guys know, send them the link that Bruce gave you. Let them know about this. Now, we did something that's unique this time, which we've never done before. We're going to see how it works out, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. So there's a VIP option. The way the VIP option works is that only the people who are in VIP can ask questions. That's it. Everybody else can just watch. But if you're doing things now, and as you're watching this thing, you notice you have questions here. The only questions that I'm going to be answering are the ones that are in VIP. And then for VIP, we're also going to give a copy of the replay of the 2 days, and then a complimentary ticket to what's called the Protect Your Idea Challenge, where we train entrepreneurs on trademarks, copyrights, patents, AI, everything. It's like a comprehensive training over 5 days. You're going to get a free ticket to that. That's usually a $95 training that we put up. So all of that stuff is given to you guys for VIP.
Appreciate it. That's awesome, Peter. Super generous, and appreciate you putting that together. So as someone who's paid Peter the $600 an hour fee, this is insane.
Oh, you're discounted. Yeah. You're at $500.
Yeah,
so
like $20 off or something. I'm just kidding. No, it's great. Let's take some questions. I know people, when we start talking about this stuff, people immediately start, well, what about this? Like, what about that? Like, I know there's a lot of different, options, the questions that arise. So I'm just going to go to the top here. I know Andrew Birchfield asked a question right at the top here. What's the best approach to protecting methodology?
Let me see if I can see his question. Andrew. There we go. What's the best approach to SaaS platforms? Oh, that's a great question. I love that question. All right. So software as a service platform. So those that don't understand this technology, just so people know, I'm an electrical engineer as well. So I'm a patent attorney. I'm a patent attorney, trademark attorney, copyright attorney. It sounds weird, but I'm a trade secret law attorney. I'm an electrical engineer. Yeah. So when you put it all together, I understand the tech that Andrew's talking about. So for those that don't understand, excuse us for a second. So for SaaS platforms in general, the functionality that's associated with a SaaS platform, if there's a methodology associated with the SaaS platform, you could technically protect that under patent law. Just understand that with SaaS platforms, it's really important that your patent application that's drafted doesn't just cover functionality alone. There's got to be some kind of connection to firmware or hardware in one way or another. Because if it's just theoretical, it'll typically get rejected under 35 U.S.C. Section 101 as unpatentable subject matter. Andrew, I would suggest you get into the Protect Your Idea Challenge, which in VIP, you're going to get a ticket to that because we actually talk about this under the patent law section. So methodologies protected under patent law. Now, functionality that's utilized in a SaaS platform is also covered under software, right? The functionality or the steps that are performed, which are typically listed in a flowchart, those steps are protectable under patent law, but the code for the software itself is protectable under copyright law. Okay, this is why it's so important to understand the different aspects. If you're running a business, you need to understand, okay, my engineering team just created a new software app. Okay, got it. And we're thinking of going to a trade show in 2 weeks. Understood. Now, if I go and I disclose it at a trade show or I offer for sale, I lose the potential right of owning that thing anywhere in the world besides the United States. And in the United States, I have 1 year to file a patent application. Like if you knew these things, think of how successful your company would be, right? And so now all of a sudden you tell your team, hey, we need to file a provisional patent application. The code that's associated with it, who created it? Did we get a third party to create the software? If the third party created the software, we got to make sure in the terms and conditions with that party, it says that they hereby assign our right, title, and interest to the code over to our company. If we don't do that, then the result is that the software developer owns the code. That's a problem because that means that I might actually buy a software app for $85,000 and not own the code. Now you look like somebody who's not very bright when you walk into that situation. But that's a good 70% of the people that are hiring these people because they don't know these things. And especially if you're in a startup, you're not thinking to yourself, oh, software app, patentable functionality, copyrightable code, the graphical user interface. If it's placed on a funnel or something like that, that's protectable under copyright law. The images on there, copyright law. The logos that I'm grabbing, trademark law. If you understand this kind of stuff, that's what elevates you to being a really high level successful entrepreneur very fast.
Yeah,
so hopefully that helps you out.
that's great. And we always are huge about building on solid ground, right? Like you said, we've got creative work that could be taking, hours, weeks, months, to put together. And some of these software platforms, we're taking us years to put, what we've put together for Tribe, to figure that out. And so these are just things to build on solid foundation. So if you're building anything, creating anything, and you're leveraging content to do this, these are extremely valuable, resources to be checked out. So let me pull up another question. We talked about YouTube, and someone asked here. So let's see here. What else? Did I miss any questions? I'm also just pulling them from Facebook as well. I know I've got a lot on YouTube.
I think we covered all these things. I'm looking at all the questions
Okay,
here. I like the layout of this program they're using. Looks nice.
nice, cool,
Yeah, I think we covered everything here.
very good. Yeah, Barry asked about work for hire as well.
Yeah, Barry's smart. Barry's very smart. Do work with Barry. That's really, he's asking really good questions. All right, work for hire. So work for hire is a very broad category, right? So when you're looking at work for hire, it depends upon what you're asking them to work on. So as an example, let's say I hire like GoDaddy to create a new logo for me. Second that they create a new logo, I'm paying them for the logo, but what GoDaddy is not going to tell you is that they're not going to assign all right title or interest to the logo over to you. What they're going to do is maintain it themselves and then license it to you every year. Why do they do this? So they can take the exact same thing and sell it to your competitor with a slight modification. So if you got a work for hire, if you got a VA, if you're hiring some third party to do any work for you, you got to make sure in your terms and conditions it states that anything that they're working for, anything that they're working on, they're assigning all right, title, and interest over to your company. This is mandatory. Guys, this is mandatory. If you don't do this, you essentially can have a software developer, a logo developer, an image developer, a marketing director. You know why it is that you can hire somebody to do an ad campaign for you, pay them, and then break off with them and they can go into your account and delete everything because they created it. Think about this. You work with an ad team for 6 months. They come out with a ton of ads for you. You think, oh, this is awesome. Everything's great. You tell them, you know what? I think we're good. We're going to stop working with you next month. We're going to keep working with you 1 month. And then after that, we're going to stop working with you. You go into your account and it's cleaned out. And you go, you can't do that. No, that's not allowable. Yes, it is, because you don't own the copyright to any of that stuff. This is why when I hire a marketing team, it's mandatory for them to start to sign my documents. I modify their documents saying, hey, you hereby assign all right, title, and interest to any marketing materials over to me. Now, a number of marketing teams have caught on to this, and so they charge a higher premium, right? Which is fine. And at the same time, it says in the terms and conditions that they don't own the material, you do. But you need to look out for these things. So anytime you got to work for hire, you better be careful about this stuff. And if you hire somebody internally within your company, same thing. Anything that it should be in the employee agreement. It should say they assign all right, title, or interest to any technology created, and you should list down the different categories of technology that you believe in, that they're going to be working on. It's just important. Now, does that mean if somebody leaves your company, you can't potentially win some kind of legal action against them, relying upon like common law where it says, well, it was created on your premises and it's related to the course of business and during the time that they were paid and they used your equipment, so therefore you own it. Yeah, you might be able to win that argument, but you know how much money you're going to spend trying to win that argument in court? Why not just have a document that says, here, you sign this, boom, bye. This is why, lawyers would make more money if you don't sign the agreements. Okay. It's a lot easier for us, you guys, to come to us and say, hey, employee went to our top competitor. They took our IP. We need to recover it. Okay, great. Tick, 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 tick. Like immediately the clock starts. And every minute that I'm working on that is billable. But if you had an employee agreement that addressed all this stuff, probably wouldn't need it. So
Good.
that's what we're trying to train you guys in. So
The short version is doing this stuff on the front end, right? You're going to save tremendously on the back end, like trying to do this stuff back, so, and what it comes down to is just a little bit of knowledge, which is really powerful. And so having the right skill set, having these things, and I've learned a ton over the last year or so working with Peter, that I'm just aware of it now. And so we're just naturally, putting a few things in the beginning. They seem like small changes. It seems like sometimes it feels overkill. Like, we're just this tiny company, and like, who's gonna, maybe it is gonna grow into something. Maybe it's gonna become something big, and go ahead and put these things in place now, so you're building on those strong foundations. And a lot of it has just come down to knowledge. And like I said, Peter's really passionate about not just doing the work, but actually training people so that entrepreneurs, content creators can make these decisions and start to have the knowledge to protect themselves.
Yeah, what some people don't actually realize
um,
is
I saw there was one.
a large. Oh, yeah, you're breaking up a little bit there, but
Yeah,
let
go
me
for
just
it.
I'll
I'll
just
finish.
add this in is that a lot of people don't realize is that a large majority of the jobs come from entrepreneurs, building new companies, employing new people, right? But do you know what percentage of new businesses fail? 90%. That's a major problem. That's a major problem. And when COVID hit, there was a 75% increase in the number of startups. So that means there's a higher number of failed companies than ever before in the history of the world. So my intent is to change that. Like I don't I it makes no sense to me. It honestly makes no sense to me because what entrepreneurs are typically doing is they're using retirement money, they're using like their cash reserves to build a dream. Well, the last thing you want is just because you didn't realize something, you just lose your dream. And a lot of the things that we're training you on, these are not like $20,000, 10,000, in some cases, not even $1,000 things. These are things like, did you know you have common law rights to trademarks? Did you know you have common law rights to copyrights? You don't need to file anything for those. People just don't know these things. But as a successful entrepreneur, the people that do know these things, Grant Cardone knows these things, Pedro Deo knows these things, Tony Robbins knows these things, Russell Bronson knows these things. Why? They've been in enough legal battles and shed enough blood to learn this stuff. But that means they also have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars learning this. You guys don't need to. So we're making this all available. It's free, 95 bucks. I suggest you guys do VIP. Then you can ask your questions. We've answered a number of questions already. I saw one other one. Barry added this question about photographers. Yeah, photographers obtain legal rights automatically under copyright law. That's why you need an agreement. Same idea. So he's got Barry, sign up. You've got like 6 or 7 questions here. Sign up, bro. I would register. Yeah. Let's
Awesome.
see. Oh, I like this question by is it Shaney? Shaney? I think it might be Shaney. So I like this question about likeness. I love this. I actually am going to talk about this during the training. So I'll give you a top level summary. This likeness issue where you can actually have your voice cloned by another party. Um, there's this incredible strategy that was created by an influencer. Um, I'll give you the summary first, and then you tell me if it's illegal. Okay. This is what he says. Go to Instagram, type in influencer, take the top influencer, then grab their face, take their face, upload it into Midjourney, do a slight modification on their face. Take their videos, use certain artificial intelligence software platforms to then take their videos and take the new face and put it in the video so that the person itself is modified, and then run those videos with a new username, right? So now it's a new account with a new username, slightly modified face, and slightly modified videos. Run that because those are already highly successful. So your chances of getting a following are very high. Run 5 to 10 of those accounts and just run them. Find the ones that actually have the highest traffic and then offer your products and services for sale on those accounts only and see how quickly you sell things. Somebody type in the chat if that's infringement. If there's anything wrong with what I just said, are there any issues based on what you've learned only within the last 40 minutes. Is there anything wrong with what we just said?
It's a great
So,
question.
so I mean, that's something to think about, right? And so that goes towards Shani's question. Yeah, way wrong. Exactly. It's copyright infringement. I mean, every one of those videos is protected under copyright law. Taking the person's picture and uploading it, that's an infringement of copyright law. I mean, all of that stuff is an infringement. So if somebody goes and grabs your voice and puts it in artificial intelligence and puts it in the videos, well, here's what happens is that the original copying of the voice, that's called copyright infringement. So they may have like 1,000 different new things that are created, but they all stem from one thing. That one thing was copyright infringement. So the damages, now what you're going for in damages is all the new creations that came off of the one infringement. That would be what a smart litigator does. So, and with that, I
Great.
think we should probably close because
That's good.
it's just gonna get this is gonna be a really really fun boot camp, guys. I
Awesome.
wouldn't miss this. I would tell all your friends who are the content creators, let them know because they're gonna want to know this stuff. You know, the other
Yeah.
people you don't need to let know, but content creators, they're gonna care.
Awesome, guys. So we drop that link again in the chat for you. Check it out. Like I said, highly recommend. You can go back watch the replay. But yeah, next week, this time next week, I guess 7 days from now, we're just kicking off that challenge. So I'm going to be in it. I definitely want to learn some more from Peter. And this is there's going to be real knowledge. Like we got a lot of very helpful knowledge in the last hour here, and Peter's going to be basically packing 2 full sessions of that. And this is not like just this is real valuable stuff. Essentially, it's not. He's going to give you some real tools in these trainings that's going to help your business, your channels, all the things that you're using to get your message out. So thanks, Peter, for being on here, and hopefully we'll be back with some more content. So we'll see you guys in the boot camp.